Namaste and good evening, everyone. I, Ritika Gupta, Assistant Director at IMPRI, Impact and Policy Research Institute, Prabhav Evam Niti Anusandhan Sansthan, Nai Delhi, extend my heartiest welcome to you all to IMPRI #Web Policy Talk. We are here for a special talk on tax reforms and the intentions of the government. Part of the series, The State of Public Finance Towards Accountability. This talk is being organized by Center for the Study of Finance and Economics at IMPRI. The speaker for today is Shri Ashok Sinha. I would now like to request Dr. Arjun Kumar, who is director at IMPRI, to introduce our speaker and eminent chair for the program. So over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ritika. And I welcome all of you for this very important discussion, deliberation, and lecture presentation by Shri Ashok Kumar Sinha ji on the topic tax reforms and intentions of the government. This talk and discussion is being chaired by Professor Atul Sharma, who is also our guide, and Sir is a distinguished fellow at Center for Social Development, Institute for Human Development, many organizations, and Sir was also member of 13th Finance Commission and have been associated with several finance commission and have a wide experience of over 5 decades in the same. Let me just briefly introduce our speaker for today, Shri Ashok Sinha sir. Sir has a degree of Master of Science in Chemistry from Indian Institute of Technology, IIT Kharagpur. And Sir has also graduated from National Academy of Taxes at Nagpur, where he completed 2-year training program for the Indian Revenue Services. Sir has over 4 decades of experience in wide ranges of position in tax administration, including in international capacity building for developing and emerging economies. Sir has worked and supervised every aspect of tax administration, including audit, collection, and specialized investigation of taxes frauds as well as international taxation. Also, Sir has worked with various institutions associated with tax administration. Ashok sir joined the Indian Revenue Services IRS in 1979 and held various positions in the department and outside. After holding the post of Principal Chief Commissioner in Delhi, he retired in 2016. On re-employment, he also joined as a member of Income Tax Settlement Commission at Delhi. And in 2018, he retired as from the post of Vice Chairman of the same of Income Tax Settlement Commission. Since 2019, Sir is also working as a consultant to the World Bank, International Monetary Fund, IMF, and participated in evaluating the strength and weaknesses of the system of tax administration of various countries, and specifically of countries like Tajikistan and Cambodia. Sir is also training senior tax officials for goods and services tax, GST, in India, and income tax officials, those who are participating on invitation from the World Bank in tax conferences at St. Petersburg, Marseille, France, and Vienna. Sir has over 5 years, Sir worked in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry and formulated policies on industries, particularly middle and small enterprises, MSME sectors also, participated in various bilateral and multilateral negotiation and engagement in India and abroad. And Sir has also worked on the development of leather policy that was conceptualized and also formulated by him. He has over 6 years, he was posted for over 6 years in the Ministry of Finance to work with Central Board of Direct Taxation, CBDT, and Department of Revenue. Therefore, Sir has been also able to make various changes and being associated in the tax administration, and he has also introduced various transparency in tax laws and administration. So with this background, let me go to Atul sir to have his opening remarks, and also invite Ashok Sinha sir to shed and enlighten us today on this topic. Atul sir, over to you.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. First of all, let me thank IMPRI, particularly Dr. Arjun Kumar, for inviting to chair this very important talk. I feel very privileged to be asked to chair this talk because we have as a speaker Mr. Ashok Sinha, who has got, as you have just introduced, has got tremendous experience in the tax administration and tax design. I would like to make a few remarks. It reminds me, because the title is Towards Accountability. That reminds me of one interesting episode in 1970s. Professor K.N. Ras, he was a little, I think at that time he moved from Delhi to Kerala, and he had a serious income tax problem. And then he wrote an article in EPW, which created a lot of furor during that period. The title of the, if I remember all right, is something like that: why should we pay income tax? Then there he has raised the issue of accountability. Even in the theory of taxation, that accountability can be viewed from two perspectives. One perspective is from the point of view of the government, and another perspective is from the point of taxpayers. It is here that Professor K.N. Ras raised a number of questions. As for the government, accountability to the government it is very clear, and Professor Sinha, Dr. Sinha will speak a lot about that. As I said it is actually that this talk, as I see, is a continuation of the last talk given by Dr. Khwaja, which was a very interesting talk. So towards accountability is the KN has raised this issue that why should I pay income tax? I must see how my money is being used. In fact, in economics, in the theory of public finance also, the tax compliance becomes better if the taxpayers know how the money is being spent. But when the money is not being spent in proper manner, and there's a lot of, people come to an Indian context, we know that the government, a lot of government expenditure is actually leaked out and goes to the private pockets and not towards the purpose for which it is spent. So given that kind of misuse of income, the expenditure, of the government expenditure, the Canada raised the question that why should I pay the tax if I don't know, if I am not sure how the tax is being spent, whether tax is spent properly. That's an important question to my mind. This is the perspective from the taxpayer side. But from the government side, the government made an attempt. Mr. Sinha knows very well. He must be a participant in many of the things. That one of the things that received their attention, great attention, is the tax reform. For instance, if you remember that Kaldor was invited in 1950s to give advice for tax reforms. And subsequent to that, the large number of committees and commissions were formed, constituted, made recommendations. I'm not saying that there's no improvement, there is improvement, but improvement is not enough to make the taxpayers really very confident. And that is why the Canada's problem was that he was harassed by the income taxpayers because he submits his income tax return. And as far as he is concerned, he is very transparent, his income is clear, but even then, he was harassed by the income tax officials. That provoked him to write that article. So I think we have moved away from that kind of situation to a large extent, where the income taxpayer now because of thanks to technology, now there is a no contact kind of tax assessment. But how successful it is, that Mr. Sinha would tell us. And as I mentioned last time also, the tax administration is important, but tax administration, success of tax administration depends a good deal on the tax design. But we seem to have failed in proper tax design. That is why we have got a very low tax base. So once you have such a tax design, which is a low base, the tax administration can contribute in a very limited way. It is not that no attempt was made to introduce tax reform. I mentioned last time also, the tax code, direct tax code was introduced. It was submitted to the parliament. It was a bill, but even then, eventually it was not introduced. But since then, that was way back, it's almost a decade back. But since then, nobody has talked about direct tax code, even though the direct tax code attempted to simplify, make the tax transparent, and made an attempt to widen the tax base. So I think in this background, I would request Mr. Sinha to enlighten us that what are the issues that stand, what are the barriers in really introducing tax reforms. The government wants more money, but if they want more money, they should have a wide tax base. Because of technological improvement, tax base has gone up, but not so much. It's still around only 1% of the population, and tax contribution is still less, and only the salaried class, the tax of the income taxpayers, the salaried class forms 3 times the non-salaried class. So there's a lot of distortions in this. So in this background, may I request Mr. Sinha to enlighten us what are the real challenges in introducing tax reforms, as also in tax administration, and eventually leading to the lack of accountability. If tax design is good, tax administration good, then naturally accountability, both from the perspective of income taxpayers and also from the government, will be clear. With these words, may I invite Mr. Sinha, today's speaker, to make his presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Very thought-provoking. But my presentation, of course, will be giving you a glimpse of all these things. And I fully agree with you. You know, large number of people are asking question, why should we pay tax? Unless they are sure of its proper use. Before I make presentations, I'll be giving you just the example. I was in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, looking after the industrial policy and promotion, where the whole Department of Industrial Development was there. Nothing doing except distributing doles to the different public sector undertakings which were declared terminally ill. The payments which were made to keep them afloat for the salaries only and the other expenditure were going from the taxpayers' money only. And the government has taken, it is the lack of will of the government to close down or to sell it off to private sectors that is going on for more than 20 years. And even now, we are nowhere near touching the target, nowhere near that. So I don't know, many government and the successive governments have come, changed. The lack of indomitable will is the only answer, And democratic compulsions, this is what few lines, passion for control, democratic compulsions, federal structures, these are the excuses given. So yes, the government also faced flack. Like I remember, if one hotel was at the time of Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee government, when I was in the ministry, the hotel was sold off at certain price. And within 6 months after that, the same hotel was resold off by a private enterprise to some other person at a higher price. And the opposition started raising hue and cry, saying that why this was sold off at a lower price. Little realizing, everybody knew that time, that when a government sells the property, it has to be sold off. It will not fetch higher price, because there is a lurking fear in the mind of the people that there is going to be a lot of litigation. And it does happen everywhere. So every government, the government also backs out, saying that ki mera kya jata hai attitude, whatever it is. So these are some of the things sitting there in the ministry from the other at the other side of the table. I have seen that it required great guts to take decision, brush aside the public or the opposition's hue and cry, and go for the sale. Perhaps this guts no government could display. That is one. Tax. Yes, why should we pay tax? It's a fact that when scams takes place, when all these things takes place, the people have this fear and the resentment, seething resentment as to why should we pay this much of tax? After all, it is going to the wrong hands. So these things are there, sir. The experience we have seen. With your permission, shall I make a presentation so that covering all the points, and we will discuss these things as the point comes?
Sure.
Okay. So actually, this is the one, the tax reforms and the intention of the government. We have to start with this only. And the background is that every
Sir, are you sharing it?
It's not showing? It is not showing?
Once again, sir, you have to go to share screen. Just click on.
Not only that, I'm not able to see the screen. In fact, none of us we are visible here from here.
No.
I don't know. Let me go back again. Let me see. I will escape.
Yes, that must be.
Has it come?
No, sir. After escape, you come back to Zoom. Then there is share screen.
I'll come back to the Zoom, because even I'm not able to see. Just 1 minute. 1 minute. Now it has come. I can see the video. Now I will share the screen. Yes, I will share the screen. No. Oh, I will have to bring it back. I will have to bring it back again. Just 1 minute. What is that? Screen sharing had stopped at the. Just 1 minute. I'm coming. I'm bringing it back. Now I'm sharing the screen. Has it come?
Yes. Yeah, something has come. Yeah.
Now it has come. I'm bringing it full screen. I'll make it. So I'm making it F5. Yes.
Working. Yes, sir. Please go ahead. Yes.
It's come.
So the first, I have started with this only, that all the world over, all the world over. In fact, I'm associated in the international forum also. I know more than 70 countries have already taken. So every developed and developing economy everywhere, I have seen the first thing that comes to their mind is tax reforms. That is the first. Only recently in Tajikistan I went, and that was there to assess the strengths and weaknesses. I was told that the World Bank project is already going on for the last 5 years, but the same chairman of the tax committee is there for the last 6-7 years. So continuity there, mind my words, that the same chairman of the tax committee and the other people are there for the last 7-8 years. He brought the World Bank team to carry out reforms, and after 5 years ordered the evaluation of the tax system, and that is how I was there. So I evaluated and found out that tremendous reforms have taken place. Of course, we have pointed out the weaknesses also and told them that these are the weaknesses. It is up to you to go for the reforms again, which they will be doing it. My point is that unless you go for the reform, it will be dishonest on your part to even consider any foreign investment or even the domestic investors to go and make investments. I'll give you a few examples. Tata, the Tata has entered into the shoe making industry. That is called, they have a brand called Stride. And they have a factory here. Their turnover is about 1,000 crore. But you know that they have a factory in China also. Imagine had the factory been in India also, how many employments and other things would have been there. But of course, even Tata couldn't find it easy to carry on with the expansion of the industry. I have similarly seen Tata shifting away from Jamshedpur. The whole township is there, shifting away from Jamshedpur to Pune and to Lucknow and all the places. I will not be telling you in details here. I think all of us know that this situation is there. Apart from taxation, law and order was also there in India. But basically, tax structure is one the big industries or the small one have to deal with on day-to-day basis. So it is very important that every country embarks on this tax reforms to smoothen its business activities. It is up to the country to find out how far they have succeeded.
Excuse me, Mr. Sena, what does TADAT mean? Stand for?
I'll tell you. TADAT is Tax Administration Diagnostic Assessment Tool, it is called. This was developed in 2015. 2015. Sir, you remember that in this decade, 2010 and onwards, many countries came forward and provided facilities, red carpet welcomes to the investor. There are people in America, in Europe, other places where you have tons of money. They don't want to invest there. They are ready to make investment. How it has gone to China? Sir, I have interacted with the industry people very intensely. In China, Indian people are going and investing in China. Why? It is very, you know that once you go there, the chief of the municipal corporation comes to the hotel, makes you presentation and says that if you come here, we give you this facilities and we give you approvals here itself. And you go and set up your industry. Once you set up your industry, sir, there are so many examples since hands-on. I was associated. This Nike, in the year 1991, India opened up. I call it economic liberation, not liberalization. But Nike wanted to come to India in 92. We threw them away. They went to China. Today, they have the biggest factory in the world. They are making more than 2 lakh pairs of shoes per day and calling the shots all over the country. Their factory is 11 kilometers long. They have people involved. This industry, howsoever intense technology you have introduced, this is a labor-intensive industry. One layer of machine which produces 400 pairs of shoes one day, it involves more than 400 people. What did we do? Kentucky Fried Chicken wanted to come to Bangalore. We threw them away. Our country is, sir, here, I don't want to tell you, otherwise I say it, we are, I don't know, I don't want to use words, but we are crooks. We are traitors to our own country. This Kentucky Fried Chicken had gone to Bangalore and said that I'm picking up 400 villages and they are setting up hatcheries and supplying to all the poultry farms and will be buying back things. Assured buying back, assured marketing. What happened? So we have examples. We have replete with examples, sir. The country is going for roller coaster ride. We call it the Indian crab mentality. This is what it is. But limiting myself again to the tax structure. Every business house, wherever it goes, it first finds out about the tax structure and how smooth it is. I have made presentations of more than 25 presentations in Italy, Germany, and France to attract investment. And sir, every time the people will ask
I think we have lost, sir. I will check, sir.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Atul sir, would you like to add something till I will check with sir?
Yeah. No, Mr. Sinha has introduced the topic that he wanted to talk about the tax administration. But it's very interesting that, it is true that private sector investment, or we talk about FDI to supplement our domestic investment. Nothing is
now
getting. Okay.
So now coming back to TADAT, sir. The TADAT, are you able to hear, sir?
Sir, we can hear you, but
Are you able to hear?
but that presentation is gone.
Okay.
Sir, वो presentation
see,
share
I don't know. फिर से शेयर कर रहे हैं, ये जूम का प्रॉब्लम है, मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ.
आप सर मुझे ईमेल कर देंगे, मैं भी मैनेज कर लूंगा.
अच्छा, एक काम, हाँ बेटर है कि मैं आपको ईमेल कर दूं ना.
हाँ, तब तक सर आप हाँ इसको स्टॉप करके यू कैन जस्ट ईमेल एंड सर यू कैन कंटिन्यू, मैं ले आऊंगा.
अच्छा. या
अच्छा, इसको आपके हाँ इम्प्री वाले में ही जो ईमेल है ना, उसी में कर देते हैं.
yes.
इसको मैं कर देता हूँ. Just 1 minute. It is better I take 2 minutes time and get this thing done. I'll get it. Why it is not? Now it is coming. Yes.
Let's continue with the talk even without the this thing.
Yes.
PPT.
मैं कर रहा हूँ सर, हो गया, आ गया. I don't. It is very slow.
Because of the Zoom.
So, हाँ. Yeah. It has come. One director in Priya, I'm just sending you. Huh? Reply. Very.
Sir, it will come.
The Zoom. Now I'm at to send it. Now I've sent already.
Okay. Sir, I will bring. You can stop the share. And sir, you were at Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC, Bangalore.
Send upload. I will now. It is coming. Now. It will come. Take 1 minute. It has gone. It message sent.
Sir, I will bring it. No problem.
It has gone.
Please go ahead. You make the presentation until it comes.
So, I'll do that. Let me sign out. Otherwise, the two things, if it open, then. Resume share, yes. Now, has it come?
Yes,
It
yes.
has come.
Yes, sir, go on. Please go on.
No, it has not come.
Sir, yes, sir, you please
Okay.
go on. It is coming, yes.
हाँ ठीक है, okay. So let me move this video now, because that video is creating things now. So it's okay now.
Yes, yes, sir.
So I was here. You asked me diagnostic assessment tool. Its importance can be judged from the fact that the World Bank and IMF combined together created a secretariat called TADAT Secretariat and developed a very comprehensive module. So it is called Tax Administration Diagnostic Assessment Tools. This tool, through which this is a standardized performance assessment of tax administration system. It evaluates the strength and weaknesses of the tax administration system of the country. And I am also a certified tax expert, and I'm attending myself. KM Sultan, of course, he's the authority. And he has been doing it since he's based in Washington. So he has got so many projects in his hand. I have done Tajikistan. I'm in the process of doing Cambodia, because I can't travel to Cambodia because of the travel restriction. I have to do this Maldives here, near Indian countries and Russian countries. I have to do all these things. I am there for that. So we have a system. We have a very areas. There are total 12 modules assessed in a very, very standardized. If you not now, sir, but in such a way that leaves little scope of discretion. And can find out needed. That is there. Incidentally, Indian tax administration system, I am telling you, sir, for some reason, will never ask for TADAT evaluation. Never ask for it. Anyway, so this is the module. More than 70 countries have availed themselves of the benefit of TADAT. And on that basis, they are fixing up. It's a very interesting reading. It takes about 2 months of us to evaluate the country's system. And during that period, sometimes the discussion is very tense, not inimical, but tense situation arises there, where no country wants to hear about the D score, the lowest score, or the C score. But anyway, TADAT is such, and it has a control report. They exercise control over this. So anyway, it's a very good tool. And those countries who have certified TADAT assessments, they have very easy access to the World Bank and IMF loan also. So TADAT is basically for tax and tax administration only, nothing else. So here you will find that every country, including America, sir, I don't know, I will recommend a book called Many Unhappy Returns. Many Unhappy Returns. The presentation has gone away or what? Hello?
Sir, I am bringing. Sir, I have brought.
Achha,
You can say
Achha,
next.
okay.
I will keep changing.
So next, Indian tax. No, the earlier one, I was only explaining TADAT. This is the one. No, before that, just before. This one. So I'm explaining about the American tax administration systems. Even sometimes about 25 years back, before 1997, the American tax system was suffering from horrendous inefficiency and torture. So much so that there is a list, there is a documented evidence of more than 87% people have either committed suicide or they left the business and left the country. So that was the situation. But the American government was very worried. Ultimately, it called the chief, the CEO of one very big country, a very big company, who was known for turning around the company in a big way. So that CEO was called by the minister, that secretary it is called there, and he was asked to take over this. When he was taking over, the press reporter another asked him, were you in army first? And if you were in army, were you in suicide mission? So this sort of comment was there. And he has documented his entire experience of 5 years of reforms in a very good book. I got it from the USA only. That is called Many Unhappy Returns. Now this book is available here in India also. Go through that book if you see very interesting anecdotes also, that how and in what way they did it. And today, the American tax administration can boast of having one of the best tax administration. They are year to year, they are collecting $2.4 trillion of tax. And the total number, people every time you will ask that when you have introduced technology, what is the point of having so many number of manpowers? I will tell you the USA has a much bigger manpower. I know it is 112,000 people on the roll and more than 112,000 people on day-to-day basis on hired. They are the people there in USA. So manpower is needed. Manpower is needed. When India went for complete computerization of the income tax department, the bureaucracy who are also inimical to the tax department, they said, now you don't need manpower. Everything is computerized. Little realizing that it is because of the computerization that we are able to introduce a very big system called AIR, Annual Information Return. And in 2 years' time, 100 lakh crore piece of informations were made available to the income tax department. And the department was thrown out of gear because they did not have any wherewithal to examine, to cross-match the data. But 2 years, when this information came, the tax collection jumped 40%. 40%. I was attending a BRICS conference of tax authorities in South Africa, and Brazil is a very good competitor of India for many things. Brazil asked me, how did you get this 40% jump? I said, it is AIR. The people said that now income tax department has got the information, so better pay up. But 2 years afterwards, 3 years afterwards, when the notice did not go to the people, they said, okay, they only collect information. They don't have wherewithal to convert this information into actionable things. So these things are there. I'll come later. So that TADAT was introduced. Then American tax administration system was revamped in 5 years, 1997 to 2002. Mr. Charles Rossity, he was made, and that book gives you a graphic account of what ailed the tax administration there in USA, something similar to India also. The computerization had taken place. The computerization just did not work, and there was no answer. Time limit was given. People were running helter-skelter. Nobody was there to help them. And in that process, Charles Rossity came, but he was given full power. The minister said that you have to report to me only, and whatever you want. The Charles Rossity told minister that I will take over only when you give me full power and authority to make the changes. That is what was given. And he introduced technology and at the same time reorganized the manpower, motivated them to do work. And the result is for every one of us to see. I have interacted with the Internal Revenue System Administration of the USA, and I can tell you, so far as computerization of a tax department in India is concerned, I am telling you with authority, it is better, said better than what you have in USA. It is said better, more comprehensive. Everything we are doing it. But ultimately, the human discretion has to be there. After all, you have to convert it into tax. And the tax, once you do it, the human discretion has to be there. You have to give the right to the taxpayer to challenge the decision of the tax authorities in the court of law. There, the human discretion comes. Computer doesn't take care. Computer brings you the matching information, do all these things, unassailable evidence. These things are there. I have used it. I have used it in Kanpur and other places. I have confronted the person. Here is the information. What do you have to say? He said, sir, I'm paying tax. So technology has brought about in a big way in getting the information. But what about the human resource? So I'm now coming to the second. I think our next slide, please. Yeah. So this is Indian tax system. I'm indirect tax reforms and direct tax reforms. Here in India, I'm explaining to you. And I go back to the earlier when Dr. Khwaja had, every time he was telling that unlike in other countries, India has fragmented tax structure. And that is a fact. Right from the beginning, the Indian tax systems have been bifurcated into two. State sales tax and other small and sundry municipal tax and all these things that were there. But basically, the major tax collection used to come through the indirect taxes and the direct taxes. So indirect tax is now goods and services tax. Earlier, there used to be excise, customs. Custom is still there, excise, sales tax and all. VAT, value-added tax, everything has been merged. Now it has come. It is one of the most revolutionary initiative taken by the government to introduce GST. It has been done. This was to be implemented with effect from the 1st of April 2010 when I was there in the ministry, but of course could not be done. Ultimately, this government showed great will, and with effect from the 1st July 2017, goods and services tax were introduced. The whole system got changed. They created an institution of GST Council. In this GST Council, the chairman is the Finance Minister of India, and all the members are finance state. Earlier, the Central Board of Excise and Customs, CBI, earlier this board will examine the proposal from the public and any suggestions. Will only the parliament, that is at the time of presentation of budget, this will be introduced, and anything can be changed only during that. Now the system has been made quite easy. Now the GST Council has been given all the powers to introduce changes, because when this GST was introduced, it was hurriedly introduced. There was a big compromise between the state and the center. The state, they never wanted to let go of the authority of collecting tax, and more than collecting tax, having authority on people. That is one thing which beset our whole system. And when we come out of it for the larger goods of the country, I do not know. I have my doubt, but that was a big compromise. That GST was introduced, all the states agreed, and in return for that, the sales tax converted into state GST. And here you will find when GST was formed, two departments came, GST Council and GST Network. Both are doing very well. GST Network is day to day, they are again introducing all electronic methods. They are introducing e-way bill has been introduced. They are changing laws. They are changing things. They are introducing electronic payments, electronic system, so as to leave little scope for manipulation by the traders and have less grievance. But so far as less grievance is concerned, that has not come out. It will take time. Let us give some time to the nascent organization like GST. Only 3 years time it has come. I will give you here that how many notifications and other changes have been made. So GST Council and network, they are working. Now distribution of cases between state and central government, it is called distribution of spoils. So out of the total number of taxpayers below rupees 1.5 crore turnover, 90% of such cases will go to the state and 10% to central. Cases having turnover of 1.5 crore and above, 50-50 between state and the center. So the result is the center, in order to allow introduction of GST, had to compromise and hand over to the state GST. The state GST, they have come under the control in the sense that the legislative control, they have to follow the rules formulated by GST Council only. But the manpower and the culture of work remains the same, and it is so widely different. And it is from one place to the one state to the other. We have the report that Tamil Nadu is doing so well, UP is not doing well, Bihar is not doing well. It all depends, and it is directly related to the type of governance the state government have indulged in. But nevertheless, the government gets the revenue. The government gets the revenue. So GST Council, that's why I'm telling that 14, how do you administer it? There are returns, there are annual returns, there are 14 different forms of filing the return, and 4 slabs of taxes, 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%. 28%. I will tell you, the luxury hotels are charged 28%. Can you think of the adverse impact it is raising on the tourism? 28% tax. Income tax is already 34%, 38% and 42%. So imagine the total amount of tax you are charging again. That will lead to corruption. That will lead to the business going out of the books. But slowly they will be changing. They are changing. So I think so. I have somewhere I have written. I can tell you, I don't know in this after all, because I wanted to make it short, and that's why it was GST Council has the power to rationalize. During 3 years of its functioning, it has issued 760 notifications. Mind it, 760 notifications in 3 years' time, and 380 circulars, primarily to focus on rationalizing rates, simplifying procedures, and curbing tax evasion. So GST, they are trying. They are every time trying to do it. But imagine the total number of notifications and circular issued in order to smooth the probe. This we have done it. GST, we have introduced it. There is a compulsion, political expediency, as it is said. Your internet connection is unstable. I don't know why it is happening today because of Zoom and all. Anyway, so following reforms are required: clear demarcation of roles between the state and central government, the deployment of surplus manpower, cost of tax collection needs also to be rationalized. Next slide, please. Next slide. Can we do it?
Done.
It has come, sir. Direct tax reforms, key reforms.
Yeah. Okay. Any question on this so that I move ahead? Any question can be asked.
Well, we will take that together.
At
So
the
this
end,
is
we'll
how
take
the
answer.
indirect tax reform.
Atul sir, do you want to add
Okay,
anything?
okay, ठीक है, ठीक है. Sir, anything you can? Okay. You
No,
know,
at the end of
sometimes
the
I'm
third
telling you the
question.
connection also is not very proper. But anyway, key reforms in the direct tax. Okay. Now, direct tax reforms. See, incidentally, I was personally or directly associated with this right from 1995 when I was posted in DG Systems and permanent account number was introduced. I was one of the architects for that. I had to face so many hurdles, and I don't have time. Otherwise, I would have told you some absurd things also which was going on there. Reforms initiated way back in 1995. Computerization of departmental activities launched. Allotment of unique number to taxpayers, PAN. Now PAN has stabilized after more than 10 years of faltering, tethering, deliberately introducing wrong things. All these things happen. Now, not only PAN, I can tell you, as I told you, that I was attending a conference there in St. Petersburg where even USA was there, and USA had that time just passed through the process of confused computerization to a good computerization. And I was complimented saying that your computerization process is more comprehensive. And I can tell you now that it is very, very comprehensive. They have tried to do so many things, but the demotivating workforce or the mischievous workforce sometimes, they defy, they go ahead, they do not follow the rules. That's a different thing. But all the activities in the department, everything, scrutiny, matching of informations, issue of notices, service of notice, issue of refund, directly crediting into the account. I'm telling you about refund because I was there in the CVDT and I was addressing the union and told them, I said, you will not see the green notes anymore now. That is the notes, the currency notes. I had introduced refund banker. Now, of course, the CPC Bangalore automatically assesses you through the system, finds out refund, transfer the refund thing to State Bank at Mumbai, and the Mumbai State Bank transfers the money directly into your account. Everything is done seamlessly in 98% of the cases. In 98% of the cases. Only recently, the system in CPC was deliberately tweaked. I will not tell you the name of the chairman, but the chairman wanted that refund to be withheld for at least 2-3 months so that their collection meets the target. It was very dangerous to use and tweak the system, computer system, because once you do it, computer will do it not for one, not for two, it will do for all such things. I have personally faced it. My refund was intimated to me and told that we are unable to give you refund because your bank account is not aligned with your Aadhaar card. I knew that it's a mischief. I rang up the commissioner of CPC Bangalore, Mr. Misra, and said, Mr. Misra, my Aadhaar card is totally linked. How is it that you are giving this information? I know the reason. He laughed and he said, yes, sir, kya kiya ja sakta hai? I said, pay me the refund or otherwise I'm going to write to different places. So after all, human intervention is there to create mischief. But the system as such, let me tell you, I have studied, I have had interactions with more than 30 countries' people. My computerization of the income tax department here can boast of the best in the world. The best in the world. And it is functioning in a much better way. Now even faceless assessment has been introduced only about 8 months back. Let us wait for some time before the faceless assessment achieves its desired result. I have started getting information even after retirement. Let me also tell you the background that while I was in the board for 5 years all over the country, I was looking after the grievance part on behalf of the finance ministry. And so even after retirement, people knew me in the country. And so they keep sending me these things. And this is how I come to know of it. So, but faceless assessment, and I have told the faceless assessment chief commissioners in few states that this is what I have received it. Please try to correct it. So, but happening. Now, key roadblocks I have given you immediately. Multiple tax amendments, wide circulars, notification, and legislative changes. It leads to complex compliance. The compliance is, the lurking fear is still there in the minds of taxpayers. As Sharma sir has said way back before, that in the Kerala, he wrote, why should we pay tax? And he was harassed. The problem, sir, is I 110% agree with you. Even today, despite my crying and shouting from the rooftop, there is no adequate system of grievance redressal. There is no adequate system. You have appeal process. I will come to know of it. And this will address your earlier concern at the time of Dr. Khwaja. You said that why so much of demand is there. I will come back. So lurking fear in the minds of taxpayer. Frivolous notices being sent to taxpayers. Procedures laid down for reopening of completed assessments are largely not followed. Guidelines, laid down the guidelines as to how the case is to be reopened. So I tell you, it is not being followed. Why people are not going for contempt? To resolve appeals before CIT appeal must be given. Taxpayer need to deposit 20% of the demand raised before appeal is filed, causes financial burden. Frivolous demands raised and takes years to get resolved. This answers your partial question, sir. 11 lakh crore worth of tax is disputed. More than that. This comes to about 1 year of target. How it is like that? Everything cannot be attributed to the frivolous appeal and all. I will give you the example of Vodafone, Kane Energy. You may have heard the Vodafone tax dispute in India was watched curiously everywhere. Vodafone won at the level of Supreme Court. It was, the amendment was done. Sir, behind the curtain things also I know. Here in this public forum, I'm not telling you. Sometimes over telephone, I'll tell you. Not now. But that was made a retrospective amendment, one of the most atrocious thing. They went to International Court of Justice. They won. Even then, the government has not heard. You know, they were ready to pay some undisputed, some tax without interest, and all the government did not take. Today, Vodafone has not paid you a single rupee tax. They were paying few thousand crores of tax. They not got it. So what are we doing? The tax administration people, few people in the fit of arrogance and in a swagger, I can tell you, this was involved. One of the most corrupt revenue secretary was involved in this case. I'm telling you straight away. My tax authority people would know who the revenue secretary was. He was involved. The other extra constitutional authority was also involved. These people were there. What shall I tell you? Now coming back to appeal. CIT appeal, I have been telling my board and telling everywhere, must strengthen the hands of CIT appeal. Must strengthen the hands of CIT appeal. Today what we have done? 1 CIT appeal, 2 staff, nothing. Now what happens? The appeal is filed. It is CIT appeal who looks into it. He looks after all these things and then sends it himself and do all these things. The result is that he's not, and he's asked to complete the appeal process, more than 70 cases. Including myself, in 2003, I was not given a single stenographer. You can say that you type out yourself. Now, a CIT appeal with 20 years of surveys can hear 5 cases, and he dictate 5 cases. But if you ask him to type out, he will do 2 cases. He will do 1 case. He will hear 2 cases. Why the costly services of CIT appeal with 20 years of service with a commissioner with such a big salary is asked to type out things because he has to type? Where else? Who is doing it? Is the High Court judge doing it? Is the Supreme Court judge doing it? And they should not do it. I tell you, they should not do it because time wasted in typing the appeal should be saved in order to hear more number of cases to be disposed of. So I suggested that one income tax officer with full complement of staff be given to a CIT appeal, and one CIT appeal should be asked to dispose of case from 6 months to 9 months from the date of appeal filed. During that process, any assessment done, the demands should not be collected. Sir, I can tell you 50% of the coercive assessment and the corruption will go away. I'm giving you in writing, let any authority of the department challenge me. I have been raising this issue. People are not answering me. They are not doing it. On the other hand, what they did, you know? There is an order that any appeal filed should not be heard during that financial year. So 1 year you do not. Now the unscrupulous income tax officer, I have seen the person has filed a return of 8 lakh rupees and ended up getting a demand notice for 2.5 crore. I got the complaint. I called for the file. I saw the assessment and I transferred the officer immediately. But there was no power. There was no power to undo. The power is there, but that power cannot be used. The government has taken action against the officer and all. So anyway, this type of thing happens if the officer is punished, or otherwise, if the demand is not paid, let him make an addition. Let the commissioner appeal. You can say that your commissioner appeal also is not a person with very high integrity all the time. Yes, I agree with it. But a commissioner appeal is a class 1 service with 20 years of more. And a commissioner appeal is not hemmed in by audit rules and all. Many times the assessing officer have a problem also. Let me tell you very frankly, assessing officer cannot in any case, many times cannot leave, exonerate, but appeal can do it. So if the appeal is allowed and no 20% demand, now imagine 2.5 crore. 2.5 crore tax in addition to 8 lakh rupees of return, 2.5 crore tax means 50 lakh rupees, 20%. How will you pay 50 lakh? And then you wait for 2 years, 3 years to get your appeal done. Why? Why can't the government? This is one of the most important. I'm appealing to the government through your channel, and I have been doing it before. That appeal system you must strengthen. Must strengthen. Let me tell you, sir, very frankly, the Vodafone type of cases cannot be addressed at the level of commissioner appeal. No. Or any big cases where substantive law points are involved, commissioner appeal is helpless. But 80% of small appeals or frivolous appeals will go away. The second problem also is crisis of credibility, which I have not brought it here. The crisis of credibility is, suppose if CIT appeal has passed an order against the department, the administrative commissioner has a power to go for second appeal before the tribunal. There the commissioner administration has a discretion. He sees that if it is reasonable, he will not go for second appeal and accept commissioner appeal thing. Very unfortunately, here also the 80% of the commissioner administrative commissioners, they routinely go for second appeal, saying that mera kya jata hai attitude, or they themselves suffer from credibility crisis. It's a very peculiar thing. It is not that. What I'm emphasizing is you will have to address the human development program very sensitively. You can't treat officers. You can't treat. You will have to, at every level, And if there are people who are mischievous, you have to punish them. You have to punish them. I have so many examples, sir. My own, I'm not telling you. If you ask me later, let me complete this process. Next slide, please. Next slide. This you have gone back to earlier. No. Few suggestions to overcome roadblocks. This I have already covered. CIT should be administratively strengthened. Officers with high integrity and reputation required. An income tax officer, this I have forgot to tell you, income tax officer should be attached to CIT appeal, should be given full strength of staff to function efficiently. Do away with deposit of 20%. He may take care of appeals and sundry work may be taken care of by ITOs. I have already explained to you this. So next. Next slide, please. Yeah. Here I will be explaining to you key human resource reforms required. Cost of collection. Here one of the most important thing is how do you run the office? Developed economy, you know, all the world where it is there on in the internet. Developed economies, they spend 1 to 1.5% towards collection of tax. That is the cost of collection, 1 to 1.5%. If you collect 1 lakh crore, you should be given 1,500 crore. I think 1% is 1,500. Yes. Developing economies, 1.5 to 2%. In India, it is 0.6%. And very, very unfortunately, no one discusses this. No one discusses this. We have a full-fledged joint secretary finance. We have additional secretary finance. He will never raise the issue. He will never raise the issue. I had told chairman sometimes, Mr. Chidambaram used to love me a lot. And you know, the way I am, I was never scared of raising the correct issue. So I told chairman that seek appointment with the finance minister. Chairman will meet finance minister at least twice or thrice daily. I say, please discuss with finance minister that, sir, enough is enough. We have discussed so many things regarding the changes in the laws and all. But what about the administrative thing? Chidambaram was one person who was so sensitive. Pranab Mukherjee was again. But Chidambaram, I have seen him. The chairman will not discuss. 0.6% is too inadequate. Is too inadequate. In one place, I'll tell you, we have offices in 750 locations. And 300 places, you have a single income tax officer charge. Single income tax officer charge. Not to collect the tax, but to prevent leakage of the tax that people do not realize. Very small example I'll give you. There, Purnia is a place in Bihar. I was posted there. When I went there, I saw there were 10,000 files which were bogus. Jute production is there. What they will do, that time the threshold limit was 15,000 rupees. So what they will do is they will file return showing 15,400. 15,200 is my income. So they will pay about 20 rupees tax or 50 rupees tax. And they will build up a capital of 15,000 rupees in a year, 3 years, 45,000 rupees. So 100 such file, 45 lakh. Now such file will be used to provide companies a loan to route their black money. So 90 lakh rupees of black money is routed through the 200 files of Purnia. And what do they show income? Income on commission from sale of jute. So I asked my office that time there was no computerization way back in 1983. I asked my office physically to take out all such files and tell me what is in how many files the jute commission is there. You know, I made a reverse calculation and told the representatives, the chartered accountant and advocates, that the amount of jute production in Purnia you are showing through this file is 10 times more than what jute is produced here in Purnia. So when I broke all the cases and all ultimately, and so revenue increased. So prevent leakage of revenue. Many places are posted merely by the presence of the officer. This thing is removed, or the officer indulges in complicity, but not to the extent.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
May I request you
Yes, sir.
to complete the talk in about 5-10 minutes, because I have an engagement.
Yes, sir, I'll do it. This is almost the last one. This is almost the last one. What I'm telling you, as I told you, that India 0.6% is totally inadequate. In one place, I found out. I asked the income tax officer of one district. I said, how much you are getting to run your office? He said, sir, I was getting 1,20,000. And I calculated his expenditure was 10 to 15 lakh. I said, how do you do it? He said, he laughed and said, sir, we keep doing it, sir. How do you do it? Seeking the assistance of chartered accountant and assessee to run the office. This is the shameful situation, sir, and it is still continuing. Anyway, lack of infrastructure support to host visitors and staff. You have 80% shortage of staff, 80% shortage of accommodation, office accommodation. 80%. Most infrastructure proposals get delayed or rejected on frivolous ground. Just 1 minute. I'll finish in 5 minutes. Despite hierarchy, there is no accountability. Next slide, please. Powers of Central Board of Direct Taxes have been largely curtailed and vested in junior officers. Purchase of a particular building, I'm giving you this. Purchase of a particular building to augment accommodation of office space by Honorable Finance Minister was dragged for almost 2 years, causing substantial delay. That is the fearlessness of the disgruntled officers. That is the fear. That is the fear I told you. Creation of Human Resource Directorate was possible only when Honorable Finance Minister brushed aside all objections. Communication system was proposed to be revolutionized in the department. It met several objections, and finally the proposal sailed through with the intervention of Revenue Secretary and Secretary Expenditure. Cadre restructuring was also opposed at the highest level. It sailed through with the intervention of the Honorable Finance Minister. The committee of COS, it is called Committee of Secretary, everybody opposed. No reason. Ultimately, the Finance Minister took it to the group of ministers and got it done. Objection raised with respect to Staff's Welfare Fund. Officers of tax administration have minimal representation in most of the committees like Standing Finance Committee and Non-Plan Expenditure Committee. These are the things I'm presenting to you. I can elaborate if you wish to, but otherwise I think that this marks the end of my presentation. And yeah, this marks the end of. Now, any questions, anything?
Thank you, Christina. It was a very enlightening. Actually, you have the experience lot of experience to share with us, and you have brought out how challenging it is to make the tax administration is transparent and accountable. You have made it very loud and clear.
I can tell you one thing, sir. With the government's attitude, it cannot be made transparent. They don't want to.
That's more challenging.
Transparent. So this country will go on like that. Your investments will suffer impediments. The country has an opportunity, I tell you, sir. There are people, lots of people are waiting in the wings to come and set up industries here. Why do I want foreign investment? Because the capital comes, the job comes, and assured marketing comes.
Yeah. Thank you.
But they will not deal with your tax structure.
At this point, you have made loud and clear. Yes, you are very right in that. I understand that there are two discussions. Yeah. Dr. Arjun Kumar, are there discussions?
No, sir.
Okay. So there's questions.
I have also collected many questions.
Okay.
But
Tell me.
first, you please give your comments.
No, I completed. You complete all the questions, then I will close. Closing remarks I will make. You go ahead with the questions.
Okay.
Acha, the video has gone away.
Yes, that is what was happening. Yes. So thank you, sir. There are few questions which have come, and sir, was Budh Prasad is writing, sir, was GST a good tax reform? As a layman and a business person, government reform in what is there for e-way bill, GST are targeted towards more accounting business transaction, while transaction, which is also a problem in the long run. Will it be a good measure? What are the problem in GST structure and why is government not willing to improve it? Why some goods such as those who are excluded in the GST, what do you think? When will they be incorporated? Don't you think? One is also coming from anonymous attendee that politics sometimes help tax evaders, some elite connection. So there is crony capitalism which is coming, the inefficiency of involvement of state members in tax bureaucracy, complete autonomy. So the inefficiency and crony capitalism, that question is coming again. And yes, okay. And so few question I have jotted down. One was
No,
that.
let me answer first indirect. Let me answer few these questions,
Okay.
and then you can throw another question. So far as e-way bill is concerned,
Kindly make it brief, Mr. Sinu, sir.
I'll do that, sir.
Yeah.
The e-way bill, the GST network is very sincerely trying to address the problem of e-way bill. They are doing it in such, those who have transformed themselves from the sales tax to this, and they were so used to holding up trucks and all these things, that goes away. They are trying to do it so that the e-way bill is generated and it goes to the jurisdictional officer, it goes to his handheld device. All these things are there. So it will, and let me tell you, since GST has only started 3 years back, only with the feedback from the people, they are trying to change it. So at this stage, you can't say that they are deliberately withholding it. No, they are not. But many problems still remain, and that please wait for some time before these things are addressed. They can write so that they can do it, but they will have to give constructive suggestion as to how this thing can be addressed. Sir. Hello.
Any more questions?
Hello. Gone.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Any more questions, sir?
Yes, we got it. Sir, one question which I also wanted to look upon. The tax collection in US is almost greater than our GDP. As they have
you
around.
can say that, yes, $2.4 trillion, $2.4 trillion.
And our GDP is almost the same. And sir, then you mentioned about the manpower constraint which we have. And they have around 200,000 officials. How do you foresee that what has happened with the other developing countries and how they have progressed eventually to have a tax administration or the personnel, also the integration of the technology to have their levels? Because now we know we have around 8 to 10 crores of PAN card holders. That numbers also keep on varying, but the actual taxpayers are such less.
No, much bigger than that. You have PAN card about 30-40 crore now, but PAN card doesn't mean anything else. But PAN card is even 3-month-old child, process child can get it.
Yes, those who are filing with
PAN card has no meaning.
Those who are filing tax having PAN card is around.
This year, I'll give you the correct figure. 7 crore people have already filed tax return through e-return. 7 crore people.
Yes, that is why I was saying around 8 crore. Yes. So yes, but if the effective numbers, those who really pay tax is quite low.
2.5 crore.
Yes. So, sir, how do you see the disproportion of the manpower requirement which you're suggesting? What we can learn from other countries or the other models, the TEDAS model and others you were suggesting? So, is there any institutionalized mechanism for having these personnel as we progress in our economy? Other question I really wanted to see that what what can be the indicators or measures that can be aligned in our ease of doing business or processes, which is internationally competitive and really captures this and captures these things which are really required for businesses ease, or rather to attract the investments from the China's Cold War or other East Asian economies, or investment going elsewhere?
Let me first tell you that so far as the scale of operation of tax authorities or tax is concerned, India can be compared only with USA and at best with slightly with Brazil, nowhere else. Nowhere else. Your number of people, humongous. The Sweden, Britain, all. India income tax we are collecting 8 lakh crore this year we have collected, and GST we will be collecting about 10 lakh crore. So 18 lakh crore we are collecting. If you convert $2.4 trillion, I think it is 88 lakh crore or something like that. I don't know. You can find out. So, but that is a different thing. That's a different thing. And targets. So trillion is fixed. They are getting year on, they are getting only this much of tax. And evasion is there also, just as here in India, but different. They watch. Here also, 98% people are, 98% are not touched. 2% and 1% more, but the 3% and all big companies are affected. So those who matter for investment in the country, they do matter.
Right. Sir, I will just ask two
And only computerization cannot help it.
Right. Sir, I would also ask just two questions, and that relates to the pandemic only. One was that, what do you think that,
Yes.
in your view, time and again, our finance ministry is also saying that the effective rate of taxation for corporates, which is coming out to be 22%, is one of the most competitive in the world. Do you think, just given this and not the other factors, is it leading to really is that less rate leading to ease of doing business, or having us to have more investment? And other thing which I thought to ask, that your views on the faceless and other things which you mentioned, what will be your suggestion, especially taking in consideration this corona times, that do you think that the tax rate should be rationalized more? Should we make it from 5 lakh, increase the mark for
100% is
some connections? We have lost him.
So may
Yes, please, sir. I will just.
it was a very good thought, because we got a lot of insight of the tax administration. But in fact, our tax design is faulty. Tax administration is also not very transparent. Despite all technology, you see.
Actually, this is the problem.
I know there's some problem. So I just thought that I'll make
Again,
some concluding remarks. I'm complimenting for your very insightful talk. And we learned a lot of things, what goes on inside behind. And thank you very much. And I would like to say only a couple of things. One thing about you talked about GST. CSE 2 years ago made a calculation saying that GST network is not
voice properly. That's a problem.
not put in place, as a result of
No, it
which
is not.
huge leakage of GST revenue. That's the comment, remark, observation which was made by CSG about 2 years ago. I think there must be some improvement, but that is a problem in the GST.
No, sir.
Yeah. You'd like to say something? Okay. The second thing is that at the best of time, to have a kind of accountable and transparent tax administration is quite challenging. And that is apparent from your presentation. There is a human element at one end.
Not,
And
your voice is breaking up, sir.
my voice is breaking up or your voice is breaking up? Am
I don't know. I'm not able to hear you properly.
No, Ashok sir's connection is quite weak. Now it's getting better. Atul sir, please carry on.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Connect.
All I was saying, the tax administration to have an accountable and transparent tax administration is always challenging because it involves a large number of very motivated persons with high integrity. And there is no way of really ensuring that you can provide the staff for tax administration with such people. That's an ideal, but it does not happen. Technology can take care of the problem to an extent, but even in tax, technology has its own limitation. Eventually, human beings are involved, and technology can go to an extent, but not beyond that. Because in appellate, as you rightly said, that appeal cases takes enormous time. So there is a huge amount of money is involved in under litigation. So that appeal has to be strengthened, you rightly said. But again, in my view, that our tax, one of the problems is both in tax administration and tax design, that there we try to achieve too many things. So the tax that we have got multiple objectives of tax. We want to make it, we want to give incentive, we want to give disincentive, we want to do so many things. We want to help the common people remove poverty, and all kinds of things. As a result, because of these things, it becomes a very cumbrous tax system. And then once the tax design becomes cumbrous, tax administration becomes much more cumbrous. Take the case of GST. You have the best of the ideal GST. We made in the Finance Commission, we did a modeling exercise. And we have clearly shown that if we really introduce ideal GST, the growth can go up significantly. Export can go up. It is very good. But if that is the ideal tax is only one tax rate.
Yes, yes.
We have got 5 tax rates. With 5 tax rates, you know that under one commodity group, there are numerous commodities involved. And so the advantage of the GST is to have the transparency, and there is no transparency when you got a 5, 6 different tax rates. So we have lost the advantage. But then perhaps it is a process of compromise between for introducing the tax, because states have to give up a number of taxes. Center has also to give up a number of taxes. So in federal system, perhaps you have paid the price. But the fact is, we have been given a tax which is not really efficient. We are going to face the problem next year, because up to this year, there was a guarantee that central government will compensate, but that period is going to be over soon. And after that, I don't know how the tax is going to be really performed. Anyway, I want to thank you for giving this very insightful talk, and also I would also like to thank Dr. Arjun Kumar and MP for giving me this opportunity, and I learned a lot from Mr. Sinha's presentation. Thank you very much. And
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure to interact with you, sir. We'll interact again. I'll have your number also.
Yes. Atul sir also had to go somewhere early today. So yes, Ashok sir, yes, I will just ask you a few questions, which
Huh.
which has
Tell
also
me.
come up. So some of the things, for example, that which is also getting into people's mind. One was the exclusion of the item of spirit, alcohol, petrol, diesel, and others. What do you think that what would that yield to? Would that be considered as a reform? Just as you mentioned that 18 lakh crores is coming from direct and indirect. In fact, the last month collection was 1.4 lakh crores. The numbers which came.
Yes, forward.
It is going upward as we even in this pandemic time, and
Mhm.
as you were also suggesting that it will go up and up. And if we will also incorporate the excise on all those, that is around 6 lakh, more than 6 lakh crores, 5-6 lakh crores from petrol.
3 lakh crore is now excise. I've only got the information 2 days back. 3 lakh crore is the excise on petrol, diesel, and spirit and all.
Okay. Okay. So effectively more than 21 lakh crores is coming from there. How do you see this going forward? And one important thing, sir, which you mentioned, be it CBDT or be it GST, that was the issue of center and state. How do you think that the process?
Problem here is revenue.
Yes. Can you hear us?
Mhm.
Some connection issues is coming.
Voice is break. I sometimes only, not never like it, huh?
Now
Never
it,
like this one. I don't know why. Is it that the Zoom has a problem? Otherwise, WebEx and Google Hangout, WebEx, I used to have attended all the meetings of WebEx except Zoom with Cambodia. And Cambodia Zoom, there were 35 people there in Cambodia I was interacting with.
now it's working better, sir.
Now, sometimes, yes.
Yes, sir. I was asking about the fiscal federalism. How do you see this issue of center and state time and again, be it any political party, it keeps coming. So how do you see that these reforms or good practices going forward?
Let me tell you from a dispassionate point of view, if you look at it, the reform you need or you wish is totally different from what the government thinks. Government will have to compromise on certain things. The state and the center federal structure, it's a very big compulsion. This is the price we pay for a good democracy we have. But this is the price we pay. So complete reform will never come. Like I will tell you, now that the center and the state are collecting taxes, if you just collate the total number of manpower and resources that each state, 28 states are pulling in, with the center you have done it, you will find out, you will see the difference. You will see the difference, and the state will not listen to you. The state with the number of officers which are there with every collecting GST with great restraint, they have been restrained from doing so many things. For them, the primary aim was first, the officer's aim was to earn money. How will they do it? Now that this, because of this electronic GST council, GST network system, incident get mismatch of officers and the total number of vehicles and the total number of staff which are there in the UP alone is mind-boggling. The total number of officers we reorganize, surplus manpower to be shifted elsewhere. So
Right.
these things, these state government will allow you. So, but if given the scenario, let me tell you, GST is doing well, and the two organizations, council and network, it is GST network and GST council. They are doing well, but they have also their own hands are tied. Hands are tied. Seeing Now I'm no longer in the government, so I can speak all these things. Of course, I was one different officer who have been bringing on file. I wrote to the
Right, right. There is, sir, there is.
finance minister also. I wrote to the revenue secretary. See me.
Right. Ashok, sir, we are getting a
Hello.
lot of, yes, connection issues. Unfortunately.
Can I take leave of you?
Yes.
Take leave of you, Arjun Kumar.
Yes, thank you. So, sir, let me also wrap, just give a vote of thanks to both of you, since the connection is getting very worse. We'll see in the recording what all has come in. So, thank you, Ashok, sir, and thank you, Professor Atul Sharma, for participating in this discussion. Are you able to hear us, Ashok, sir?
Yeah.
Yes. So,
Thank
for this very...
Yes, I am here. Now here.
Yes, it's like waves. It's coming and it's going, the voice.
Yeah, it's creating problem.
It happens. It happens. Nonetheless, for this special series, the State of Public Finance Towards Accountability, and this special lecture and presentation on tax reforms and intentions of the government by Shri Ashok Sinha Sarji, who really touched upon that what are the reforms and what are the roadblocks. And we tried to discuss despite having connection issues. And I'm also very thankful to Atul sir. And many people were also scheduled to join, but there was so much of connection issue. So we will try to make up for it some other day. I will also ask from Atul sir, and hopefully we'll discuss much more of this issue and get into what can be done, looking and also learning from other countries. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Atul sir. Thank you, Ashok sir. I will share.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Sharma sir. Thank you, Kumar sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, leaving the meeting now.